right, so we previously discussed all the ingredients that go into booking more patients, turning more leads into consults, turning more consults into patients. Today, we're going to talk about how do we maximize the revenue of those patients? How do we get repeat business from them, for example? So today we are joined by Chris Chomenko. Did I say that correctly, Chris?
You got it.
Awesome. And why don't you give us a quick introduction of yourself?
Yeah. So, introduction to myself, live in Houston, born and raised here. Wife, two kids, 3.5-year-old, a 2-year-old who's a menace. I mean, these guys are going nuts all day, every day. And RepeatMD, we founded in the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, somewhere in that ballpark. We really kind of went to the market in 2021. We came into the concept in the pandemic. Phil and I, we were actually founders of another company called VIP Insiders. We're creating reward and retention models for restaurants, and we had a lot of big clients across the country. Of course, when COVID showed up, all that business went out the door. Restaurants shut down. They weren't thinking about anything besides just baseline, primal survival. And the way we got into the aesthetics world is really by whatever you call it, luck, fate, what have you. I have a friend in Houston, ENT, Dr. Ben Slento. I was at his house for a party, and he knew what we were doing, and he's like, "Hey, I'm opening up a med spa. Can you guys, build me a rewards platform for that?" And at the time, we were like, "Hey, are you willing to pay?" Because anybody that had money during the pandemic is like, "All right, that could be a friend of ours." And we're like, "Look, Dr. Ben, you're my pal." It's like, we can try to do this for you. But your patients might get an offer for a free margarita. So, who knows what the hell's going to happen? Because we this is not what we do,
That
but
wouldn't be that bad though, Chris.
it.
That'd be freaking awesome.
You know what? I was like, those worst things, right? So he's like, yeah, let's do it. So we did it. Mary Beth Hagen's one of the first people we talked to. She used to be at Allergan back in the day.
I know her pretty well.
Ran
It's
the
funny
Botox
that
world.
Yeah, I mean everybody knows everybody, but
it's a great industry for that, right? And she's like, "Hey, this is what's been missing for the practices." And after that, we pivoted. We went all in on RepeatMD. And now here we are, flash forward 2 years later, and it's gone from a rewards retention, birthday reminders platform to now a full med commerce engine where we're able to finance patients' treatments up to $20,000. We're able to create memberships, rewards, of course, sales, 24-hour-a-day sales through the app, notifications, driving push through, pull through, engagement, and really creating this source of inbound revenue for the client that they're able to expand from their client base. So that's who I now fully immersed into the world of, elective medicine and aesthetics. And, every day we wake up and think about new ways to help, practices grow and enhance their business and transform more patients' lives.
That's a badass story. There's two things I take from that. One, who in the hell is starting a business right after the pandemic and being this successful? That's amazing, right? That you would had a business that got, selling to restaurants when the pandemic, that's just a tough draw, right? That you can't control. So that is an amazing just story, entrepreneurship story. But then also the need, right? This is obviously a huge missing piece. And I think one of the reasons we were excited about having you on is just so many practices now. I'm sure I know of RepeatMD and of the concept of, first and foremost, before the other stuff you mentioned, just getting more out of the patients that I already have. And so few are doing anything about that. So I think that speaks to me as well, is that people are starting to understand that they need to take action on it. And it's cool that you guys, found that need. So Ken, I'm stumbling into your part, but that's a cool story.
Oh, that's awesome. Appreciate it. I guess let's jump into the topic then. So, Chris, we obviously are at the point in the patient funnel, the acquisition funnel. We have patients coming in. They're getting services from our practice. What's kind of next?
So, let me give you the example of, I think this one will probably connect and resonate for a lot of practices, right? So like, let me walk you through an example of a dermatology. And we have this conversation 7 times a day. Okay. So if you're a dermatologist, you're a successful dermatologist, what do you have? You have a lot of patients. Patients are coming in to see you for, like true, like, hey, I'm coming in for my skin cancer assessment. I'm coming in for, to actually look at like serious, like medical conditions. But what I have for you as my dermatologist is an innate sense of trust when it comes to all things skin. So you have this large patient population that already trust you to a high level. And what you want to do now, if you're a successful dermatologist, is you want to kind of get into this aesthetics world, because what you're seeing is all these people having all the success in this aesthetics world. You have device companies coming to you 17 times a week, offering you all the greatest new devices and what you can do with them. And let's say you decide to take that journey. I want to get into aesthetics because as a dermatologist, I want to have a business within my business that's, making me money. And aesthetics for a lot of doctors, it's almost like mailbox money, because it's money they can make without them actually having to be in the practice, right? Because they can have laser techs and estheticians and they can actually build the business. But the problem you have, right? So we set up like kind of where you want to go, but the challenge you have is, how do I get my dermatology patients interested in my aesthetics? How do I message that? How do I do it at the same time and not being like a sleazy salesperson? Because you're a doctor, you're not a salesperson. You don't want to be salesy. You don't want someone to come in for a biopsy and then talk to them about microfracture, resurfacing, right? It's not necessarily the right fit or the right time or right place. So what you need is a soft way to get those people interested and engaged. And I'll tell you what the biggest brands in the world have figured out is that there's a way to do it. It's undisputed. We use it and see it every single day. And the answer is rewards platforms. Now, rewards platforms back in the ancient era were punch cards, right? We all had the Subway punch cards or Smoothie King punch cards. And then you probably have a friend that worked there when you're young to give you like 20 of them. So you're getting free sandwiches. They had to get rid of them because those systems were, like that's old days, right? No one's walking around punch cards. So what are the biggest and best brands doing now? Starbucks rewards, Allergan has their rewards program. They have mobile reward solutions. And so what these reward solutions do is they get your patient, in our case, into an ecosystem that educates them on all the different services by saying, hey, you know what? You're here at the doctor. Here's a sign right here that says, hey, by the way, you get, free hydrofacial or $50 towards your first aesthetic service. Whatever your offering is, whatever that hook is, it pulls them into this ecosystem that now slowly moves them through all of your aesthetic and cash-based offerings. And that's exactly what Starbucks did. Like, if people don't realize this, in 2008, 2009, when Starbucks like launched Starbucks Rewards, they were known for tall, grande, venti, like the 3 types of coffees. They had cappuccinos, frappuccinos. They did not have the iced caramel macchiato. They did not have the cinnamon sugar swirl, like nitro cold brew. The
That's my favorite.
Yeah, it's that's why I know it's one of the ones I drink. At Texas, it's like 105 degrees. Hot coffee is like anathema to what we do. So, but they use the rewards app to create awareness, and they actually launched 42 products in 2019 alone. And how do they do it? By triggering little reminders and posts and like little breadcrumbs to the rewards app. So what I'm saying is, to complete the story, if you're a dermatologist and you have a lot of patients and you're really trying to like get into the aesthetic world, you better have a way to get them, like get the patients at least aware. And at the very core of what we do is we create this like massive, perfect awareness engine that gets people at least talking about it, aware that you exist, aware of what you offer and what's out there. And I think a lot of people, like, in business in general, they kind of gloss over like awareness and how important it is. And all they look at is the bottom line and how much money are we making. But I promise you, awareness leads, like people are going to be aware of you way before they actually buy from you, right? Like you've probably found out in your lives, think about this, something you've wanted. Maybe it's a swaggy new guitar, maybe it's some kind of, if not years before you actually purchase it. True. So the more awareness you can create, the more front end funnel you're going to ultimately have to backfill. So don't just look at the bottom line. And that's the key with rewards. Like Starbucks, when they launched the rewards program, for the first 2 or 3 years, it was a loser, right? They were giving away millions and millions in free coffee. It was like they were investing. Now, what is it? It is literally the single most valuable part of their entire business. They have 51% of their total revenue that is generated through and because of the app. That is more than half of Starbucks' total revenue, because they invested in awareness and now it's gotten them everything and everywhere. So that's how you can go from just a general practice and get into aesthetics is through an awareness engine, which is what a reward system is. Now, a sophisticated reward system can do more, and we can talk about that later, because the RepeatMD not only wants to create the awareness, but we want you to capture the value in the app, like when they're hot for it. So we don't want them to wait 6-7 months. We want to make it easier for them to move forward today, right?
Totally. I had a question about, the aspect of how this supercharges referrals. So I think historically people are like, we just provide a good patient experience. They come in, we treat them well. It smells like lavender, whatever.
Yeah.
Those things are important, but they're just like, and so because people enjoyed it, they're of course going to go tell their friends, and then they're going to reach out to us. Which
that's not how it works.
That happens some, but only the people there's only a certain percentage of people that actually do that, right? So what have you guys learned over the years, even from your prior rewards business, just about the psychology of referrals, and then being able to offer your friend something from the practice, and how that changes the game of the likelihood it happens, and then that person reaches out?
Yes. So look, I'll tell you, and had an amazing experience or amazing stay at a hotel, and you went back and wrote a 5-star review and told all your friends about it. Like, that's not how we operate. But I'll tell you what, if you walked in and there was a roach in your bed, you're getting on the keyboard like, these sons of bitches, 5 stars, my ass, right? Like, so bad news like travels around the world twice before good news gets out the door. And so like, if you're just hoping that like, hey, I've got lavender, mist, and I got eucalyptus, like, breathing area and all this, and that's going to create the referrals. Like, you might be right. There's going to be some referrals off of it, but if you don't have a systematic way to generate referrals, you're going to be kind of left at the whim. And look, like, if I and we talk about referrals like this, right? Like, yes, word of mouth is great. Like, hey, Dr. Smith is awesome. Love to go see her. You should go try her. Cool. That's one way to do it. So if I go, hey, Charlie, like, you know what? I saw this new movie. The new Indiana Jones movie. It was fantastic. You got to see it. You're like, oh yeah, cool. I'll go check it out. Guess what you're going to do? You're like, yeah, okay, cool. You're not going to think about it. But if I said, hey, Charlie, I saw the Indiana Jones movie, and because I went, I got 2 tickets that I get to share with you. So, hey, I'm going to send you 2 tickets to your text message, and you can book them and go see it. Would you say the likelihood of you taking you and your wife or son or whoever to see Indiana Jones with 2 free tickets is a lot higher than if I just told you it was a good movie?
For sure.
100% higher, right? So what we're creating is a system where, hey, I got a free ticket. Now I can share free tickets with my friends, so I can actually give some value to my friends, so they like me more. So my social status goes up, because I'm not just telling them, I'm actually giving them a soft entry point. And now you as a friend, you have a reason to actually go over and above the fact that somebody just said, hey, good deal. And then the whole point that you're making is like, hey, people like, they're going to come back and refer because like, we have a great experience. But I'm going to tell you, a great experience is a minimum requirement. If you don't have a great experience, like you are out of the game, because everybody does. So you have to have above a great experience, which means you have to have systems. And I'll tell you this, like, if you're a client on this call and you've been in business for 5 years or more, and you're still pumping dollars in acquisition, you have to stop and ask yourself, why is that the case? If your retention is so good, if everybody's coming back and referring their friends, why are you still spending 10, 15, 20,000 a month on paid ads and paid social? Why don't you just have this huge base of customers that's coming in all the time, referring their friends? And that's what I think I'd like to stop and make people pause on. It's like, hey, you're spending all your time on acquisition. If you allocate some of those resources, and like any like business professor will tell you, like 70-30 at a minimum from acquisition to retention. Like, but I don't see anybody really thinking about retention, because retention isn't sexy. You think I've already got them, so I don't need to resell them. But you do, actually.
That's an interesting thing, because like, if you talk to people about what we're talking about, so many will nod their head and agree, oh my God, yeah, totally. It's 10 times more expensive to get a new customer or patient, whatever. And there's so few, at least up until you guys, are actually taking action on it. And I think it must be something along the lines of, it's not as sexy, or people just sell themselves on that patient experience concept. Well, yeah, I mean, we spent so much time making sure that everybody was going to enjoy themselves here, that we already sort of have that, because we know our people are talking to their friends, and that's bull. Like, that just does not happen with the examples that we just gave. So
you get sold that everybody's going to come back. Like, hey, they came in, they're going to keep coming back. And what happens is we get this, and I forget the actual name of it. it's kind of like a cognitive bias, right? We think our retention's better because all the people we see over and over again, we like, oh, I see my people over and over again, but you don't remember all the people you don't see. And so what happens is you get in this loop of thinking, reinforcing like, oh, I see my patients all the time. Like, yeah, but if you really looked at it, like how many people are you not seeing all the time?
Yeah, like the actual percentages of the people that have ever been there, right? Like if you're a med spa owner and there's 10 people that you know pretty well that come in a lot, they're basically your friends now. And emotionally, you're like, oh my God, we have such good retention. But to your point, yeah, those people are going to keep coming back. Also, those people should have brought you 5x the number of, they should have brought you tons of patients, and how many have they actually referred if you don't have a system, right?
And have those 10 people just been coming in for Botox for the last 10 years, or have they actually upgraded to like body contouring and lasers and those other things, right? So are they still coming in as low margin, or if we actually cycled them up to high margin because it's my friend, I don't want to upsell my friend, and it's like I don't talk about money now. It's like just gets like it's tough, and that's why like a barista has never had to upsell me because they got this great rewards app that constantly tells me all the cool shit I can buy at Starbucks, right? Don't you want that? So you never have to upsell anybody and just have a system that's constantly like giving them little breadcrumbs of what they can try next. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on this. I will say I would love to have the experience of a Starbucks barista trying to upsell me one day.
Yeah.
See how good they are.
No, it's trust me, you don't want it. You don't want it.
Yeah.
And the baristas, if they did, then maybe I wouldn't feel as bad about, the tip they ask for every time. But I do. I'm a tipper. I want everyone to know that whenever they hit me the little tip machine, I tip them every time. It's just, it's.
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually we're getting off topic, but one of my New Year's resolutions is I am not doing that this year, to see how much less money I've spent.
So you're going,
because I mean it's everything. Maybe a barista, but like Jersey Mike's or whatever, right?
It's everything.
I made you a sandwich, whatever, and I'm like, yeah, that sandwich is like $13, and I'm like Dwight Schrute. I don't tip somebody for a job I could do myself.
I like it whenever I go and get water, like just like go to like a little store and like grab some waters and like tip, like no, like that's, now you guys are literally insane. Yeah. Anyway, well, I'm sure that a lot of the business owners on this channel could probably agree with those sentiments.
We'll have you back to talk all about this.
Cool. Well, yeah, we'll have another episode on this. Ken, any other questions you wanted to dig into?
We're running towards the end of the hour here, so I guess let me throw one at you and roll with it if you can. Are there any like major mistakes you see practices using around this, that like pitfalls we should warn people to avoid?
So, I mean, if you want to talk about pitfalls, like, I'll kind of keep it like close to the vest with RepeatMD and like just pitfalls and like a retention solution, like period. Right. So like if you're going to build rewards into your business, which I recommend everybody does, right? Rewards are like follow the money. Like if you look at Chick-fil-A and Starbucks and Allergan and United and all the hotels, all the biggest brands in the world have rewards programs. Like folks, it's not a fucking accident. It's not a mystery. There's a reason they're doing it. It's because these things are insanely profitable. So I recommend everybody has a rewards program, whether you use RepeatMD or not. Now, I prefer you use us because I think we do a really good job and our technology is just getting better and better, and we're investing tons to make it better and better. But here's the pitfall. Here's how you can take something that can be immensely powerful and absolutely destroy it. And I'm going to use what I call a puppy analogy. Okay. Ken, Charlie, either of you guys ever bought a puppy before?
I just did like 10 days ago. 10 days
ago? Well, this is going to work out just fine then. Okay. I think you're going to follow along. So whenever you're going to get the puppy, super excited, right? Like, oh my God, I'm going to have the puppy and it's going to be so cute. What kind of puppy did you get, by the way?
Boston Terrier.
One of the cutest dogs on earth. I think the most popular breed of dogs in 2023. So congrats, my friend. You're right in the mainstream of things. Okay. You really get the everyday man.
There you go.
So you got this cute puppy and you're super excited about it. But when you get the puppy home, what's the first thing that happens? Like at night, it yelps and keeps you up all night if you're trying to trach crane it. Probably pisses on the floor a couple times, maybe shits in the house. You got to take it in and out every single hour. When it gets a little bigger, it's going to start chewing up your shoes, your house. Like a puppy itself, like the idea of it is super fun. Just like a rewards program. Like, oh, I'm going to get a rewards app. It's going to be awesome. All my patients are going to see it. They're going to love it. It's going to be so cool. And then the reality sets in. Oh, I've got to help get people signed up. Oh, I've got to train my team on it. Oh, I've got to talk about this every time. Oh, I got to answer questions to my patient. oh, I got to give away this free thing to get people to sign up. And it's like, you're in the puppy phase, and that phase where it's just causing more trouble than it's worth. And it's like, oh, this sucks. Right. And that's where most people, not, I wouldn't say most, but that's where a lot of people like want to give up in their journey. Like, man, like I'm not getting anything out of this. Like I'm not getting any sleep. I'm losing my shoes. My house is a mess. Like this puppy sucks. But with puppies, we know, like at the end of the day, you're going to have this really loyal protector, companion, friend on walks with, cuddles, snuggles, like, fun for the whole family. Right. So we stick with it. So I would tell you that the mistake you can make with a rewards campaign is not to survive the puppy phase, to get to that point where it is this really robust, rewarding experience for you as a business owner. And that can be anywhere from 3 months to 6 months to 9 months, depending on how aggressively you train your system. Like for some people, the puppy phase can be forever. I know people that have full grown dogs that are shitting in the house because the owners never potty trained them properly, right? So like the puppy phase may never end if you don't actually take the time with the puppy. But on the other hand, I know some people that have like a little 8-week-old, 10-week-old dog that's like scratching on the door, doing everything right. It's because they spent the time to get the training installed. Same thing happens with the rewards engine. If you're going to take it on, know you're taking on a responsibility, and it's a responsibility to your business and to your patients, because like, hey, you're offering them rewards. And like, if you come back in 6 months and say, oh man, I was lazy, I don't want to do anymore, you're going to take those rewards away from your patients and you're going to create a negative experience, right? So don't enter into this willy-nilly. It's just like a puppy. Like you have it for 6 months, you can't control it. Now you're going to tell the kids you have to take it to the farm and break their hearts. You don't want to do that. So enter into it knowing it's a long-term commitment. Enter to it knowing that you've got to do the training, you've got to do the setup. And RepeatMD, what we do is like we provide the print material and training, and we help you do launch parties and to get the ball rolling. So it's like we're selling you the puppy plus like the training package, right, to make sure that will help you get a housebroken. But at the end of the day, like it's on you to do what it takes and make it through that phase, and just realize that like, hey, at the end of the tunnel is an opportunity to build your business and to expand your revenue in ways that are literally impossible to do without a rewards platform. And if there was other ways to do it, I promise you, the Starbucks and Chick-fil-A's of the world will be doing them. The reason why they're not, and they're using mobile rewards, is because it is literally the best tool available for the people that can afford to go that route today.
Love the puppy analogy. Brilliant.
I've never had a more apt analogy in my life. I wish I could say I created it. It's actually my sales manager, Tommy Ship, who came up with that.
Nice.
When he was explaining it to me, I was like brilliant, because I had just got a Shih Tzu like a week before. This is like 10 months ago. I was like, that's like,
you're like, oh my God, I'm in that. Yeah,
I'm in the vortex. I get it, and it makes so much sense. So yeah,
it does. That's awesome. Cool, man. Well, thanks for hopping on. I enjoyed that. Ken, any closing comments?
Tell the audience where people can find you guys.
Yeah, you can find us if you come on down to Houston Galleria area, drive by the office. No, I'm kidding. You can find us at let me get all this right here. I'm not the social media manager, Ken. My God, this is embarrassing. Right?
RepeatMD.com at least.
I'm a rewards app guy. I don't even go on websites. RepeatMD.com. You can find us there. You can find us on Instagram, and I want to say it's repeat.md. Repeat.md. Somebody must have beat us to the punch on RepeatMD. Find us on Instagram. Go to repeatmd.com. Hell, if you want to, email me, I'm Chris at repeatmd.com. And yeah, we'd love to talk to anybody. And like, and our whole stance on businesses, like we're open to conversations. Anything we can do to help practices grow, like whether they work with us or not, is perfectly fine. And, also I'll tell you this, like, and you guys at Line, I know y'all are awesome. We love your technology as well, as far as like just helping people, like med spas, like most likely you're not good on the phones. Your people aren't good on the phones. A software like Line, like I just have enough clients that tell us like how good you guys are, can really take that up, because like you can have the greatest offer in the world. No one's picking up the phones. Like you're leaving money on the table. So I'm not going to beat that to death, but it's huge. But I'll say that like, we believe that we just want to help people, whether they use us or not, like just get the results they're looking for in business. And, so if you ever want to reach out and have a conversation, ask us any questions, don't be afraid to reach out to us, because we might have run into a client that's experienced what you're experiencing now, and we might have something we can share to help you.
Love that mentality. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks cool, man. Enjoyed it. We'll have to do another one sometime, and I'll let you know when I'm in Houston.
You do that. Yeah. Happy to chat with you, gentlemen. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and thanks for having me on.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
Chris.